Welcome to Our Voices, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation. My name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the owner and co-founder of Dressing Room 8, co-host of Woke and Free, and the lifestyle editor of Plus Model Magazine. And this show is focused on highlighting the amazing work of powerful change agents who have a great message to share with the world. And today, I'm really excited to be speaking with a woman I adore and have worked with, Sharon Devonish Leid, who's the CEO of NetStruc PR. She's a celebrity publicist, speaker, TV host, author. She does so many things. So how did she get started? She has over 20 years of experience in public media relations and is an expert in community engagement, providing her clients with direct connect to their target audience. She provides her clients with the highest level of customer satisfaction possible, and her mission is to ensure that each client gets featured in media outlets and is connected to the right contacts that will truly help them grow. So without further ado, Sharon, how are you?
Thank you so much, Natasha. I am doing great. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you. So I'm excited because I think that I really don't know if the average person knows what a publicist does. So please break it down. What is a publicist? What do you do? And then what does a celebrity publicist do?
Well, you're right, because the average person, when you tell the average person that you're a publicist, they're like, "Oh, great, I need marketing," it's like, no, that's just like a small portion of what a publicist does. A publicist really is someone who put you out into the media and put you out and, to put your story out there. We're pretty much like a storyteller. We have to put your dreams and your thoughts and why you actually put this business together so people can actually paint a picture of what your business is like, so they can get more in tune with it. So now they can say, I want to deal with that person. I want that person's product. Oh, I love how that person, does hair, because they're in tune with the community. They have that community aspect of it. So it's not all about just putting a flyer out there and just, putting it out there in the, in a newspaper or anything like that. I have to tell a story. And that's what people don't understand. So when they think publicist, they think marketing immediately. And yeah, it's a part of it. I'm not going to say it's not, but it is.
Absolutely.
Definitely not all marketing.
Oh, interesting. And then how did you make that jump from saying, okay, I'm going to have my regular folks, and now I want to rock with celebrities? And what is the difference? Is there a difference? And if so, what does that break down to?
So that part actually fell in my lap. It's all about, most of my clientele is entrepreneurs, small businesses. It's the regular people who really don't have a lot of money, but they want to get that they want to get that exposure. So, but the type of networking that I do, I get around a lot, and I roll with different networks. So my different networks are on so many different levels that I will run into a celebrity. I would run into networks who deals with celebrities, and we vibe great, and they probably are saying, oh, you know what? I'm doing some community work in, Brooklyn or in Queens or whatever, and I would like for you to connect with you because I'm a New York publicist. Can I connect with you and, get on some radio stations or anything like that? And that's how it started, really. And, and it just, and it went viral. It just started going more and more and more. I've done stuff with Vivica Fox. I've done stuff with the Big Three with, what's his name? He's a basketball player. I'm drawing a blank right now, but it's just been flowing. So God is good, because that's not something that I thought of. That's not something that I was going forward for, but it is just something that just fell in my lap, and I said, you know what? Thank you. I'm gonna
rock with this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. And now, since you mentioned the art of storytelling, which is, as it's something I truly deeply adore and really continue to work at for myself as well as my own clients. Ultimately, what would you say has been the key to your success as a publicist and as a storyteller?
Well, you know what? It's definitely a lot of reading. Because if you don't read, you don't expand your thought pattern. You don't expand your mindset. So I do a lot of reading and don't ask me where do I find the time, but I actually do find time to read. And you know, in applying some of the knowledge that I pull out of my reading, the passages of what I read, but also networking. And I, you know, and again, you know, the networking has put me in such great circles that I've learned the art of networking, and I've seen people just communicate on such a different level. You know, as I go along, as the years that I've been networking. So, you know, my personality has changed. So, you know, I don't take things too personal. You know, like business is business at that point.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I just really value good, solid relationships, just with people alone and also with the media industry. I value that. So I don't take advantage of the connections of what I have. I hold them deep and close to my heart because you got to protect the people who's in your circle. And I think, you know, key to my success is that I, you know, all of those attributes just put them together and it becomes, you know, it just becomes one.
Awesome. Okay. And then when it comes to all the other things that come after your name, being a speaker, TV host, author, how did that come about? I'd love for you to share that part of the journey.
Well, that's so funny because the TV host and author and speaker was not something that I was even thinking of. And it's so funny because I want to say about a year ago, I was talking with a colleague who was in my past life business, in my career. My background was actually law enforcement. And, you know, had lunch with him and he was just like, oh, you know, you should write a book. And I'm like, nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Are you kidding me? He's like, no, really, you should write a book. You should speak. You should do all of these things because what you're doing right now is so valuable and people want to hear it. And I'm like, you know what, please, you need to stop. You just, and it wasn't until, and I'll be honest with you, I applied to become part of a conference. And all I really wanted to do was just vend. And they declined me because they said I did not have a book. And I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And they were just like, you know, and they were like, we would love, you know, you have a great opportunity to speak and things like that, but you had to have a book to be part of this conference.
Interesting.
And that's what made me say, okay, you know what? Let me really start thinking about this. And my first book that I actually, you know, started writing, which I haven't completed yet, it's based off of networking. And I'm not going to tell you the name yet because that's actually not the first book that I'm going to drop.
Yes.
But, you know, I was like, okay, this makes sense. Now it's starting to make sense. And then I started, you know, reading things from Les Brown and George Frazier and you know, the network gurus. And I'm like, wow, okay, I could really do this. So that's how all of that came about. And, you know, the TV host part is that I don't even know where that came. That's just straight out of left field. I'm telling you, God is so good because he's just like putting things in my path that at first I was just like, this isn't something that wasn't even a thought in my head, but now I'm starting to do it and I love it.
Awesome.
I love it.
I love that. You are listening to Our Voices on the Voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. My name is Natasha Nurse, and my guest today is Sharon Devonish Leid, CEO of NetStruc PR, celebrity publicist, speaker, TV host, and author. So, Sharon, I completely agree with you. I think that when we get surprised like that in the universe and by something that we were totally not thinking about, it was complete left field, it's a part of the universe kind of saying, hey, you could excel at this. This is something you might enjoy. Why not give it a try? And it's a beautiful progression because similar to you is right. Like if you know my story, right? Lawyer by trade who's now media personality, model, blogger, writer, podcast, right? Like I do so many different things that I didn't even imagine that I would do, or that law in somehow would lead me to this journey. But I think that that's the joy of entrepreneurship. It's the beauty of life, and it's just the random luck that totally could play a role. So now about the TV, I'd love to for you to share a little bit about that before we go on to more Publicist questions.
Well, again, the TV host part, and you know, when Vera came to me, she said, "I have this great idea." And I'm like, okay, great. You know, I listen to Vera. Vera is like a mentor. Vera is a very big mentor to me, Vera Moore.
Yes.
And so she comes to me and she says, I have this great idea. I have this great opportunity. And I think you'd be great to partner with me on this. And I'm like, sure, what is it? You know, first of all, I'm honored because, you know, this woman is a legacy. I mean, in business for 40 years, has mentored so many people, has been in media, every single media outlet you can think of. And she's such a down-to-earth person. So to her to come to me and say, Sharon, I want you to be a part of this, I was jumping on it. I didn't even know what it was at first. So when she told me what it was, I was like, I've never been a TV host before. I'm like, you know, I get people on TV. Like, I'm not supposed to be on TV. I'm behind the scenes, making sure everything is good. That's not me. She was like, no, it is. He said, you have the personality for it. You just got to, you know, if you feel that you don't, it will get pulled out immediately. And you know, pulled on 3 other women that, you know, I have met probably within the last 4 years. And, you know, one of them, Dr. Stacey N.C. Grant, I've known her close to 20 years. So, and, you know, we've just been in networking in the same circle. We're both the same Libra, you know, we're both Libras. So, you know, we both have boys. So it was just like such a perfect fit. And, you know, we did our first show and it was great. It was great. The show is all about empowerment for women, lifestyles, you know, what boss women go through, you know, especially with families, you know, sisterhood, current events that affects us. You know, so that's pretty much, you know, what we wanted to just bring to the table with that. And, you know, we're going to have guests on, and we're just making it fun. We're making it really, really fun. But we want to get the message out to individuals that, you know, another key thing is follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. And even if you didn't have this dream, but it might have been something just twinkling in the star, and, it, you know, you just weren't looking at it, you know, directly, this is something just highlighting, just make you go, okay, I never thought of that. So, you know, just doing that alone is such a refresher to me, because again, this is stepping out on something that I've never thought I was going to be doing. Never. So it's you know, TV host, it's fun. It really is fun.
I love it. Congratulations. So where do people go to watch the show?
So they'll be able to go on either Fios, Spectrum, and Optimum. And I believe it's on channel 39.
Cool.
But we're still, you know, in the makings of it. We're doing we're going into our second taping, and you know, we're going to be posting it and letting people know how to find us. And you know, when I give my information out, they'll be able to follow me, and they'll be able to find out where they can, you know, see us when we're airing.
I love it, love it, love it. All right, you are listening to Our Voices. My name is Natasha Nurse. More with my guest Sharon Devonish Leid, CEO of NetStruc PR, celebrity publicist, speaker, TV host, and author. Next on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Our Voices on the Voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. My name is Natasha Nurse. My guest today is Sharon Devonish Leid, CEO of NetStruc PR, celebrity publicist, speaker, TV host, and author. So again, Sharon, congratulations on the show. I can't wait to tune in, and everyone listening for the 90.3 WHPC family. I hope everyone tunes in. And now back to publicist questions, because again, I want to make sure everyone gets it. What is the key to getting your story to the media? Why does the media want to pick up something about your business or about your life?
Well, what I tell my clients, and it's so funny because when I go to clients and I tell them, listen, when you retain me, you bring me on, you have to get into the media. Because some people just look at it as like, oh, I just want to get in front of my target group. I want to do, because I do a lot of grassroots also. So I do a lot of grassroots connections, a lot of grassroots networking events. But, part of it is, I tell them, I said, part of this is you have to get in front of media. Excuse me. And so what I tell them is, here's the important part about this. The grassroots community groups is one side of it. The media is such a bigger platform for you that you can't even imagine. And I tell them, I said, I don't care what type of media you are looking for, whether it's mainstream media or even if it's grassroots media. Media is media. So if it's online radio, if it's online TV, if it's mainstream Channel 7, Channel 5, Channel 2, if it's any one of those, regardless what it is, we have to get you on because it gives you such more of a bigger platform that you will be able to get your story out. So you can't just stay stuck on one type of outreach or one type of storytelling for your business. You have to do it in multiple parts. So getting into the media is very important for your brand. It's very important for your professional and personal development. So, for some clients it's a challenge. It is because, they're shy. So you got to prep them to, do the interviews. And I get it. I completely get it because I was the same way. I would, push all my clients. I'll prep them and everything. And then when people started saying, oh, I need to interview you, Sharon, I'm like, no.
That's funny. That's amazing, actually.
And they look at me like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, no, I'm a behind the scenes. I get my clients out there and I do what I do. And it wasn't until I actually went to a conference and I met a publicist, and she's been doing public relations for God knows how long. But she was such a inspiration to me when I saw her speak at this conference. I went to her and I spoke to her and she said, you need a publicist. And I was like, what? She said, yeah, you do. She said, let me explain this to you. She said, and she ran the whole thing down. She said, you are not supposed to be in the limelight. You put your client in the front of the limelight. So how do you get in front of the limelight? You can't do it for yourself. You need someone else to do it. And it's not that she was looking for business. She wholeheartedly was just giving me advice. And, and that's another thing, to be successful, you have to learn how to take advice. You have to be humble about things. You can't be cocky. You can't think you know it all. So, so that was it. And it was like, wow, okay, same thing I'm telling my clients, somebody's telling me. But yeah, media, it's very important to get into that. It's very, and how I create relations. It's networking because I'm very big on networking. I try to put myself in places where I know different media outlets or different media people will be, and I just connect with them. And that's how I get my connections, my relationships with media people, is just by staying true to myself and to them, and working with them and respecting what they want as well as they respect what I want.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. And now for those listening and they are thinking, this sounds like a really exciting, really, interesting position or role in life. What would you say are some of the challenges that you've dealt with as a publicist? And, what did you do to overcome those hurdles?
Yes, so there are several there are so many challenges as a publicist because media is very finicky. So when you're sending out press releases, you got to constantly keep calling to find out if they received it. No, they didn't receive it. You got to keep calling. Then it has to be the flavor of the moment for the media as well. So if your client is not the flavor of the moment for that particular media outlet or the month or whatever, you have to be really creative. And you know, I tell my clients, I say, listen, there's certain type of media that we have control over, and then there's other media that we don't have control over. But that's the one where it's the flavor of the month. They're looking for something specific, and you know, okay, so I don't get you on that platform right then and there. However, there are others that we do have a little control over. And that was one of the challenges that I overcame was I connected with other media outlets that I can, you know, pretty much reach out to them and say, hey, listen, I have a client that has X, Y, and Z. Would you be interested in interviewing them? And, you know, and they'll say yes. So, you know, I tell clients, listen, there's some paid media and there's some non-paid media. And that's where we go at. You know, we have a lot of media outlets that it is a paid, and it's not paying for the interview, but it's paying for the promotion. It's paying for the platform. It's paying for so much more. And you know, I never forget. Vera Moore told me when I first met her, you know, you got to pay to play.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
You know, when you pay to play, you're playing. And so that's so that's so you know, those are some of the challenges. Like I said, you know, the biggest pitfall is when, you know, you got a client and they're gun ho and you're just really trying to get them into that mainstream, and it's not the flavor. It's not the flavor of the moment at that point, and I have to keep my clients moving and keep them from not feeling disappointed. So it's a lot of cheerleading with them. It's a lot of encouragement. You know, letting them know, listen, it may not be this month, but you know, we'll get on that particular platform, but here's the other platforms we can get on, because I always encourage them. We have to be in media every month. We have to. We have to have fresh content every month. And if it's not every month, it's every other month. But we have to have that. And, you know, my clients understand it, which is good. You know, so it's to that point. But yeah, it's a cheerleading thing too. So.
Absolutely. You are listening to Our Voices on the Voice of Nassau Community College and 90.3 WHPC. My name is Natasha Nurse. My guest today is Sharon Devonish Leid, CEO of NetStruc PR, celebrity publicist, speaker, TV host, and author. I really appreciate that honesty and that wisdom, and I hope you would be happy to know that I myself have set that goal as well, that like I like to have something in the press about myself or what the work that I'm doing or the work with my clients at least once a month. I think that is a healthy goal, so that's nice to hear. Affirmation. Very, very cool. Okay. Now, because I would love for you to just quickly share, because you weren't necessarily a person who was like, look at me, what did you do to kind of help get over the shy hurdle to welcome interviews and to welcome being a bit more in the limelight?
I had to get out of my comfort zone. Okay. I really and truly, and it wasn't easy. I'll be honest with you. When you reached out to me, I was like, oh gosh, okay. I can't, first of all, I can't say no to Natasha. I can't say no to Natasha. But, you know, it keeps resonating in my head from what the publicist had told me from the conference was, how are people, and my clients are my best referrals. They are my best. However, you know, I have to get out of that comfort zone for me to feel comfortable to be out there to talk about what I do. So many people, like I could be on a phone conversation with someone and I can literally just be giving information out with no problem. And they're just like, wow, I need you to come to my group and talk about that. And that's where it's like, oh, okay. You know, because I just got to get out of my comfort zone. And I have. I have been getting out of it. I'm pushing myself. Again, I'm reading more. Because again, that makes me feel more comfortable, especially when I see people who are very successful have gone through the same thing. So, I feel that, okay, I'm not alone. I got a strong family support. So it's definite. That definitely plays a role in that as well. So, again, I'm getting out of the comfort zone. I'm really pushing myself, and 2019 is going to be such a great year for me, my clients, and my circle. That we're just going to be going like the little Energizer Bunny.
Very nice. Yes, speak that into existence. Absolutely. I mean, I am a butterfly. I am an extreme extrovert. But what people don't know about me is actually if I was in a room by myself, I actually enjoy quiet time and reading and being by myself as much as people see me out in the streets and always talking and doing a bunch of stuff. So my advice for people would definitely be, especially even you, right? That you think about the purpose, right? Like, you're not doing media just to do media, but you're doing media because you're a woman of a certain background, right? You're a person of color. You're all these different attributes that you can say about yourself. And what's that going to do? The young people can see that, and they can now know, right? If they didn't know about a Black female Publicist, now they do, right? So now you're giving hope and you're giving inspiration. And then, of course, also, maybe you're repping XY. Like, we all have things that are a part of our identity. And by going forward and sharing that story, all we're doing is we're tethering that to the public limelight. And people need to understand people from different backgrounds. If you never see it, you don't ever understand it or ever want to look into it or even appreciate it, right? That's right. The problem with our country, that we have one narrative, one look at things. So that's the importance, I would say, just the grounding of the why of why you do things. But I do want to make sure that people know, how can they, if they want to work with you, if they want to know what's going on with any of your clients, where do they go?
Oh, so they got a couple of platforms that they can go on. They can always go to my website, which is NetStrucPR.com, and that's NetStrucPR.com. They can hit me on all social media levels, platforms, which Twitter and Facebook is NetStruc LLC. IG is NetStruc PR. And the number one thing that I tell people to go to, if all fails, my LinkedIn page, which is my name, Sharon Devonish Leid. I am such a firm believer with LinkedIn because LinkedIn is my professional page. LinkedIn is something where I put out my professional thoughts. Obviously, I put my clients' information on there as well. But I have made some really, really great connections on LinkedIn. So on a professional level, if someone who wants to contact me, they can definitely hit me up on my LinkedIn page.
I love it. Yes. Shout out to LinkedIn. I love being on there as well. So Sharon, thank you so much for coming on Our Voices. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you too. Thank you so much, Natasha.
Absolutely. Again, who was I speaking to? The amazing Sharon Devonish Leid, CEO of NetStruc PR. She's a celebrity publicist, speaker, TV host, and author. And she joined our show, and I hope you listening really found her both as informative and inspiring as I did. My name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the proud host of Our Voices here on 90.3 WHPC. Our show's creative director is Rudy J. Breedy. Visit nccradio.org. That's www.nccradio.org for more information. This will be available as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. Our Voices is powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.